Ever thought bananas and humans had something in common? Or that sharks are older than trees? Stick around as we uncover the wildest facts that'll blow your mind. 1. In an event that seems almost too unimaginable, Londoners, on the brink of World War II, voluntarily killed over 400,000 of their beloved pets in a single month. As tensions with Germany rose, the British government feared a strain on resources. To ease the burden on food supplies and public resources, citizens were asked to put down their dogs and cats, most of whom were left to face an untimely death. The horror of this massacre is still a difficult chapter in British history. 2. Taiwan holds one of the highest oral cancer rates in the world. The reason behind this epidemic lies in a culturally significant but dangerous habit: chewing betel nuts. This carcinogenic nut is typically consumed by blue-collar workers and indigenous Taiwanese communities for its stimulant properties. Despite being discouraged by health experts, betel nuts remain a widespread practice in the country, contributing significantly to the oral cancer rates. 3. China began developing nuclear weapons and even began building nuclear submarines before they had the infrastructure to mine uranium. This leap in ambition speaks to the country's determination to bolster its military capabilities, regardless of the technological or material barriers it faced at the time. 4. Did you know that the actor who played the master and the actress who portrayed the wife in the iconic film Hocus Pocus were actually siblings in real life? The fact that they played characters with no family relation in the film is a fascinating piece of behind-the-scenes trivia. 5. In the 1950s, the CIA resorted to bribing Egypt's president to persuade him to join the Middle East Defense Organization. Despite accepting a hefty bribe of $3 million, the president refused to honor the agreement. 6. For anyone in the United States with the proper resources to house and care for one, you can apply to adopt a wild horse through the Wild Horse and Burro program. It's an effort by the Bureau of Land Management to prevent overpopulation of wild horses, which often leads to starvation and disease in the wild. 7. A blue moon refers to the rare occurrence when there are 2 full moons within a single calendar month. Statistically, this event occurs once every 2.7 years, making it a special sight to behold for skywatchers everywhere. 8. One of the most significant disruptions to international trade occurred when the Suez Canal, a vital maritime trade route, was closed for 8 years between 1967 and 1975. The closure followed the Six-Day War, costing billions of dollars in global trade losses and presenting a stark reminder of the strategic importance of this waterway. 9. Zach LaVine, the NBA star known for his incredible jumping ability and skills on the court, achieved the impossible by winning back-to-back MVP titles in a boys' Pee Wee hockey league. While not a professional win, LaVine's dominance in his youth league set the stage for his future basketball successes. 10. Frozen in 30,000-year-old permafrost, scientists found viruses like Pandora viruses and various bacteria still alive. 11. Mary Surratt was the first woman to be executed by the U.S. federal government. She was convicted for her alleged involvement in the assassination plot against President Abraham Lincoln. 12. Otis Redding's soulful ballad, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, became a cultural touchstone. But tragically, it was recorded just days before Redding's fatal plane crash. Not only did the song become one of the most iconic tracks in American music history, but it also became the first posthumous #1 single in the United States. 13. In a heartfelt move, an autistic father of an autistic son quit his day job to run a Minecraft server specifically for autistic individuals. This server provided a safe and bullying-free environment for members of the autism community to socialize, connect, and enjoy a shared experience. 14. The last Republican mayor of Chicago, Big Bill Thompson, was elected in 1927. Notably, he maintained an open alliance with notorious gangster Al Capone. In fact, after Thompson's victory, his supporters flooded a speakeasy run by Capone, and the building sank under the weight of the crowd, adding a bizarre footnote to Chicago's storied political history. 15. The creation of Ford's iconic 428 Cobra jet engine was purely accidental. What began as a mishap involving a careless mechanic and a blown engine turned into one of the most powerful engines in automotive history. The resulting mishmash of components worked so well that Ford decided to mass-produce the engine, marking a defining moment in performance car history. 16. While not often thought of, churches can and do purchase insurance to cover lawsuits related to abuse and inappropriate touching. The fact that such lawsuits are a part of church finances highlights the serious and often tragic issues that institutions have faced in recent decades. 17. Street Hildegard of Bingen, a medieval polymath, created her own constructed language complete with an entirely new alphabet and vocabulary. The language, based on Latin and Middle German, is one of the earliest examples of a constructed language. However, its purpose remains largely unknown. 18. In Japan, it's possible to hire someone whose job it is to apologize on your behalf. Whether it's for a personal or professional situation, these apology services are highly regarded, offering individuals a way to maintain social harmony and avoid conflict. 19. A study of autopsy results found that the average age of death for people with tattoos was significantly younger -39 years old, compared to non-tattooed individuals who lived to an average age of 53. Interestingly, the presence of a tattoo was considered more significant than the content of the tattoo itself in determining the reduced life expectancy. 20. The loudness war refers to the trend in the music industry, particularly in the 1980s through the 2000s, where producers and broadcasters increased the audio levels of albums and songs to make them seem louder. This trend led to complaints from consumers about the distortion of sound, and eventually, the Calm Act was passed to regulate maximum broadcast sound levels. 21. Welsh poet Dylan Thomas's death in 1953 led to an unusual incident involving his widow. While transporting his body from New York to Wales, she discovered that a group of sailors was unknowingly using his coffin as a card table. Not wanting to disturb the sailors, she quietly allowed them to continue, believing that her husband would have found humor in the situation. 22. In 1974, Cleveland Browns fans faced backlash when they started throwing paper airplanes at their team's games. When a lawyer made a complaint about it, the team's lawyer responded by sending a letter stating, "I feel that you should be aware that some hole is signing your name to stupid letters." The cheeky response became a piece of Cleveland sports legend. 23. It may surprise many, but the Beatles were not legally dissolved as a band until 1974. The dissolution process was finalized when John Lennon signed the last contract while vacationing at Disney World in Florida, a fact that adds another quirky twist to the band's already fascinating history. 24. In medieval times, peasants were often given an unusually high number of holidays. These holidays were typically between 8 weeks and half a year, and the church viewed frequent rest as essential to keeping the workforce from revolting. 25. Mel Blanc, the legendary voice actor behind beloved characters like Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig, has a gravestone that reads, "That's all, folks." This phrase, famously associated with his portrayal of Porky Pig in the Looney Tunes cartoons, is a fitting tribute to the man of 1,000 voices. 26. In the late 19th century, a man named Emmerich Juttner was able to evade the U.S. Secret Service for a decade by using counterfeit $1 bills, which were so poorly produced that they often misspelled Washington's name. Juttner would only use one counterfeit bill at a time and would never go to the same place twice. Eventually, he was caught and served 4 months in prison. 27. In the early 20th century, the idea of using milk as a substitute for blood during emergency transfusions was tested. While there were occasional successes, the practice was eventually deemed too risky and was abandoned by the medical community. 28. British Airways offers a Flying with Confidence course designed to help people overcome their fear of flying. Remarkably, this course has a success rate of 98%, helping thousands of people conquer their anxiety and enjoy air travel. 29. As delicious and healthy as grapes and raisins are for humans, they are highly toxic to dogs. Even small amounts can cause severe kidney damage, making them a danger to your four-legged companions. 30. Did you know that there are more museums in the United States than McDonald's and Starbucks combined? There are over 35,000 museums across the country, compared to only 14,000 McDonald's and 16,000 Starbucks locations. 31. In a bizarre twist of corporate espionage, a Coca-Cola secretary offered to sell the company's trade secrets to Pepsi. Instead of agreeing to the deal, Pepsi alerted Coca-Cola, and the secretary was sentenced to 8 years in prison for attempting to sell company secrets. 32. The Tiffany problem refers to a historical or realistic fact being deemed anachronistic. This phenomenon is named after the modern name Tiffany, which was originally medieval in origin, but is now considered modern due to its common use. 33. Selena Gomez received a kidney transplant from her friend Francia Reza in 2017 due to complications from lupus. The fascinating part of the story is that Gomez named her kidney Fred after Fred Armisen, the actor and creator of her favorite TV show, Portlandia. 34. A study suggested that 30 to 50% of the population lacks an internal narrative or monologue. However, this is debated in the psychological field. 35. The largest pyramid in the world by volume is not the Great Pyramid of Giza, but the Great Pyramid of Cholula in Mexico. With a volume of over 4.4 million cubic meters, this pyramid outshines its Egyptian counterpart. 36. Dead languages like Latin, Hebrew, and even extinct languages from ancient civilizations have been revived in modern times. Hebrew, for instance, has been reintroduced as the official language of Israel after centuries of being considered a dead language. 37. The phenomenon of coral bleaching is a direct result of climate change. Without this algae, the corals can die, leading to devastating effects on marine ecosystems. 38. In ancient times, some cultures used the skulls of horses as mirrors. A unique cultural artifact, the practice was believed to protect the user from evil spirits while simultaneously providing practical utility. 39. While humans and bananas may seem worlds apart, we share around 60% of our DNA with them. This doesn't mean that we are genetically similar to bananas, but rather that many of our basic biological processes are shared across life forms, demonstrating the commonality of life's molecular building blocks. 40. Sharks have been around for about 400 million years, while trees first appeared around 350 million years ago. This means that sharks predate the rise of the first trees, making them one of Earth's oldest surviving creatures. Their design has evolved remarkably little, maintaining an ancient and highly successful blueprint. 41. The Eiffel Tower, constructed from iron, expands and contracts with temperature changes. During the summer, as the metal heats up, the tower can grow by up to 6 inches. The phenomenon is an interesting reminder of how materials change with temperature, even in massive structures. 42. In botanical terms, bananas are classified as berries, while strawberries are not. This surprising fact stems from the different ways in which the plants grow and develop. True berries come from a single flower with one ovary, and bananas fit this definition, whereas strawberries do not. 43. The mudskipper is a type of fish that can walk on land, using its pectoral fins to propel itself across the ground. These amphibious creatures live in mudflats and are adapted to thrive both in water and on land, defying the typical image of fish being strictly aquatic. 44. Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, lived around 2,000 years ago. The pyramids were built about 2,500 years before her time, and yet she lived closer to the 1969 moon landing, an astonishing fact that highlights the immense time span between ancient Egypt and modern history. 45. Octopuses possess 3 hearts. 2 pump blood to the gills, while the third pumps it to the rest of the body. When an octopus swims, the heart that delivers blood to the body stops beating, which is why these creatures prefer crawling over swimming, as it's less taxing on their bodies. 46. Wombats, native to Australia, are known for their unique cube-shaped poop. This unusual trait is due to their slow digestive process and the elasticity of their intestines, which shape the waste into perfect cubes. This helps the poop stay in place, which is important for marking their territory. 47. A day on Venus lasts 243 Earth days, while its year is only 225 Earth days. This makes Venus' day longer than its year, a mind-boggling fact when compared to the more familiar Earth. 48. The coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth was a chilling -128.6 degrees Fahrenheit, which occurred at the Soviet Union's Vostok Station in Antarctica in 1983. This extreme cold is due to the continent's high altitude and its position at the Earth's southern pole, where the sun rarely shines. 49. A single day on Mercury lasts about 176 Earth days, while its year only lasts about 88 Earth days. This means that a day on Mercury lasts more than twice as long as its year. 50. Butterflies have taste sensors on their feet, allowing them to taste plants by landing on them. This unique ability helps them determine whether a plant is suitable for laying eggs. The receptors on their feet are so sensitive that they can even detect certain chemicals in the plants they land on. If these fun facts amazed you, hit that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping knowledge. See you in the next one.